Yeah.
Okay, so let's start. Elliot wasn't sure he was gonna make it. He was gonna make an attempt. I think,
Okay.
this is a very, very short meeting. Just wanna go over these two sets of minutes. I was hoping to do three, but my printer crapped out on me. So let's officially open the meeting. We have Allison Antoine, John Martin, Aaron Wolf. Looks like Elliot Hammond is absent tonight. So let's go with the oldest first, 8:17 minutes.
I wasn't here, so I have no voice. And you weren't there either, so we don't have a quorum of, how does it work when you only have two of the three people who are
Yeah,
present?
sometimes it's difficult to get, Elliot in here, but, at times, one of us could always be absent. Can we do this with,
Sure.
it would be in essence a quorum of the people present
Yeah,
at the time.
we've done it sometimes in the past,
Yeah,
where even if you weren't there, I mean,
there's nothing that stands out to me on these minutes.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty,
Yeah. We should write
if it were a
straightforward.
contentious hearing, I would say, no, let's just, but this is, approval,
Right,
like,
In these 8:17 minutes, we approved minutes with two people,
yeah, I saw that,
so
so, yeah,
right.
I'm okay.
But what we could also do is that, we've approved it, and when it comes in and just looks it over, and if there's no dissension,
yeah,
Okay,
we're running into difficulty like this, that's the bottom
yeah,
line.
exactly, so.
And not everybody could be here, and that's why,
Yeah, I think this is,
Yeah.
the second time we've tried to do these,
yeah.
minutes and,
so, I move to approve the minutes as, printed here. I have no objections, no corrections or anything.
okay,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye, okay.
There you go.
So let's go to 10:05. These we can approve
Mhm.
fully.
Mm. Okay, looks good to me.
Same here.
Okay, do you hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 5th,
Do I have a
Second
2017.
them?
second? All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, minutes are still approved, good. All right, like I said, this is gonna be short and sweet. The only business that's kinda hanging over is 126 Main. The only reason it's not ready to come in front of us, but it is gonna come in front of us. And I think it's purely a setback issue, so.
Which building is 126 Main?
The old floor shop.
The floor, okay, okay, the
Yeah.
flower shop,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so, it's hung up with HDRB and its
Right.
seeker review and all of that stuff, so.
Okay.
But it will come in front of us,
So you're saying our main issue will be a setback issue?
yeah.
Well, what about
From my
this, what about this complaint that came in from the neighbors of, Parrot Pine,
On-
whatever it was?
Yeah, on Parrot,
With the
that is the.
artist studio?
Yeah, it's the artist
Expanded.
studio,
Yeah,
the garage,
Garage.
that was rehabbed, well, basically torn down and rebuilt as, artist studio. It was the case that we basically sent them away and said, talk to each other.
Talked to each other and came up with so they came up with a solution.
They came up with a solution and they came up with a set of plans, and I was hoping that we had put some kind of caveat, and we didn't.
But the plans that were approved, the plans that we saw did not have any
No,
venting or any
No.
air conditioning unit or anything
No.
hanging off the, yeah.
But the plans that we see usually don't, I can't
that's,
remember.
and
others.
that's, and basically, air conditioning is not in our purview.
Right.
Because our neighbor, it looked like they were gonna put an air conditioner in their driveway, and I'm going, right next to one of our windows, and I went, no! And I came down here and I asked Jeff, and he says,
Can't do anything about it, huh?
Yeah, so,
Wow.
fortunately, that's not where it ended up, but,
You'd think that after all that back and forth, that these people would have talked to them.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, that is not neighborly.
Yeah,
At the very
exactly.
least, not neighborly.
And that's essentially what they're guilty of.
Well, the other thing is, since they conceded, they could have raised more objections to the setback issues, right?
Setback issues.
At the
and-
time.
Yeah.
Because we did have to approve certain
Yeah.
setbacks,
Yeah.
and that's,
The letter that they sent in the original case, though, they said, the letter was, we approve the plans we see in front of us. So, but then here we are at more than 60 days,
Well, we haven't,
you know?
we haven't seen these attachments to the building. It's possible that they are sticking out further than we might imagine.
Well, that's,
Or if the air conditioner were attached to the building, then that
yeah,
would need to be considered part of
that's
it.
where the building inspector has to go in and say, okay, the plans were approved for 3 feet, you're at,
2.5, yeah,
you know, whatever.
or only 2.
y- That's when you put up a stop work. Supposedly, it's my assumption that the inspector has okayed the footprint. And if it's an air conditioner, I mean, a lot of these are going up in the village where the units are hung interiorly and they run the
Right.
pipes exteriorly,
Right.
you know what I'm
Start-
talking
Yeah, I
about?
get it.
Yeah.
the newer ones.
Yeah,
Those ones,
and
yeah.
so I don't know, but it sounded like there's also a vent.
There's vent, and they're really concerned about the noise and the smell.
And the odor.
And the odor.
I mean, not
Odor,
the
yeah.
odor, but the fumes,
The fumes and the,
noxiousness.
Absolutely. I-
yeah, I mean, if this woman's working there and she wants to vent the stuff out, she's gonna
Right,
go vent into her neighbor's yard?
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that might be a building code.
it
Consideration,
is,
right?
Yeah.
so there's,
Right,
I mean,
not
I
zoning code.
just sent it out as just, an
Yeah.
FYI, things to keep in mind as we.
Yeah.
It
as we
also
go
would be
forward.
viewed as a nuisance as far as
Yeah.
legal, when you start venting noxious odors into
Right.
another person's property, I mean, that's.
Well, that's part of the small business, under the small business code, there's something about noise and smell.
Isn't,
But this is residential, so.
This is residential, exactly, but, she's an artist, so is it a business or is it
Oh, yeah,
a
that's a
hobby?
good question, yeah.
It's, let's hear it, yeah.
the other thing is, when you think about it, I mean, a lot of these home buildings are so close to each other that this is an issue that would come up. And I'm sure there are people who are dealing with air conditioners with their neighbors right, 6 feet away from their own building,
Yeah.
with them in the windows.
This summer I went out and I smoked, what did I smoke? I smoked some, a small pork butt and then I ended up doing some ribs. Well, when I do that, there's smoke rolling out of this thing
Oh,
for,
yeah.
6-7 hours and
Yeah.
if it blows,
In your direction, yeah, you gotta smell it, right?
and I'm going,
Yeah.
anyway, so, but we have no action on that. Something else that might come in front of us is, there's a couple of signs that, they hang horizontally out in front of it, and there's supposed to be a 12-inch limit, and these signs are more than 12 inches.
Off the
Where's this?
building.
The wine store, the new florist shop up
Yeah,
in the old insurance building, and then one other on Main, all on Main. One of them was cited, the other two were mentioned in passing. So,
it's really strange, because I imagine that the HDRB approved all of those signs, and how do they get through the process where nobody says, hey,
so,
there's an issue here, it's too
Well,
big?
the other thing
Yeah.
is, we gotta then maybe send a letter with regards, but simply saying, just to make them be aware that
yeah,
there's that limitation.
yeah. Anyways, again, we are not zoning enforcement, there's no,
Right,
there's supposedly a denial on one. I don't know, this Phillipstown building inspector. I'm not sure how effective he is. They say he's meeting his appointments, but, you know, in terms of enforcement, you know, but we, you know,
Well,
that's always been a weak spot for us.
yeah, enforcement's always, it's a joke, in fact, in some
Well,
ways.
you know, we wait till it comes to us.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an
Yeah.
advantage, otherwise we'd be here.
Yeah.
I mean, if we walked the streets and looked for 6-foot fences,
Yeah, oh,
um,
but that's not,
Yeah.
again, that's not our purview.
that's not our job,
That's
right?
not our, all we can do is make a complaint
Yeah,
to the building inspector,
right,
you know,
Right.
so, as a private, essentially a
a private citizen, exactly.
So,
And we may also hear about the sign at the new smoke shop, which is a canvas sign. That's,
Oh.
that's
Yeah, I
not
saw
one.
that, and I went,
You-
smoke shop, ooh.
Well, there are people, you've seen on Facebook all the hubbub about it. It's
Yeah.
really, you know, it's,
Right here on me?
Yeah, yeah, it was I think
it
the
was a
last,
salon.
salon was its last.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it's
the
right
last
up on the
iteration,
corner.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, it's just beyond Hudson Hills.
Yeah.
Across from the firehouse.
Yeah,
It took a long time, that was vacant for over a year. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't, and part of it was
well, the building
that
is,
the owners were very candid with any potential renters, saying you're gonna have to go to the planning board and pay for parking waivers. You know, it's not just a question of paying for paying rent and
Right.
doing that and building it out, but we've got this crazy thing in this village, you're gonna have to pay for so-called parking waivers,
yeah,
which is a real racket.
yeah, so,
Keeps our taxes down.
Well,
Oh, it's
well,
easy.
it's only a one-time fee, it's not annual.
Oh, I see.
You pay it when you're opening, and then you could close in a year, or you could close in 20 years, and you've paid once. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah,
If you're gonna do this, make it an annual tax.
yeah.
You know?
The only thing that doesn't get grandfathered into the next business or renter
Right, so,
or,
yeah,
or even purchaser, as far as I know.
yeah, no,
So,
it's
yeah.
crazy, it really is. Well, I imagine that something's gonna come out of, you know, on Rock Street, the Sensi Veneer stuff is gonna come back around. Because I understand my landlord's won their case fighting over the driveway.
Oh,
The
one in front.
one, yeah, where I
Right.
live, the one facing,
Oh, facing. Yes.
on the other side of Rock Street.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we have the driveway that goes to the back of the Main Street buildings. And, you know, and spaced apart, because I have one of those
So
parking
somebody
spaces.
actually has a right, owns it?
Yeah, my landlord who also owns the building that
In front.
Chickadee is in,
Okay, so,
yeah. And,
what, do they have easements, everybody else, or are
well,
they landlocked?
I think that Vicente Veneer was suing for an easement, and my guy said, no, you don't, I don't know what you're
You
getting.
gotta
You
negotiate.
gotta negotiate, right?
Yeah, you gotta sue for it,
yeah.
yeah.
So the guy in the landlocked one, you know, is stuck.
Well, that's what we had to do. I
Yeah.
had a friend of mine who had to do just that. I had negotiated
Yeah.
to an owner, purchase of an easement across the property.
Yeah, but to sue for one was kind of outrageous, you know.
I mean,
That's
this
not
is
gonna work, yeah.
You would've been cheaper just to buy the
But
easement.
to buy the easement, exactly.
So, with regards to the studio, art studio,
We're just waiting to
We're
hear,
just,
yeah.
yeah, we have no actions in this.
Yeah.
It was just an FYI,
Mhm.
just, you know, the communication was sent to me. I wanted the board to know that, you know,
Mhm.
there was some blowback on it.
I mean, that easily could be vented, like, back into their own yard. I mean,
They could
there's-
have
Well,
went
yeah,
in any other
that's-
direction. They
Yeah,
could-
exactly, and
And they
that's.
did it really thoughtlessly. That was
Yeah.
not a smart move.
Yeah, so.
Well, we don't know who decided to put it there. We may not want to assign blame yet.
Well, it was somewhere in the, you know, in the owners or the designers decided to, you know,
Yeah.
exactly, but not to mention it,
Yeah.
you know, you think you wanna do this, it's,
Or just to
yeah.
blow it out towards the neighboring yard, as opposed to just blowing it into your yard, because
Yeah.
they have a
Yeah.
huge backyard.
They have a
Yeah,
huge
they do.
backyard,
They
right?
do,
They could have put it on the other side and there'd been no issue.
yeah.
But-
So the last thing is, basically, end of November, that's it.
You're out?
I'm out. I've got to focus on getting my life together,
Getting to the beach.
Turkey Day closes it out, huh?
something like that. And there's a bold and strong member who has stepped up.
Right, Mr. Wolf here.
who is very good on the little Stony Point
Yeah.
board. too.
It's,
That's great.
I'm willing to do it, I'm also happy to let any new person who wants to be on the board. We discussed it after a recent meeting,
Okay.
and nobody else wanted to do it.
What did you
Alright.
just, oh.
Yeah, we did, yeah, we discussed it,
Yeah, at
yeah.
our board
And
meeting.
don't wanna do it, yeah.
So, yeah, and that's fine, you know, so I'm gonna write Dave and say, okay, let's make this official.
Did anybody express interest in
That has-
joining?
That has all my
Do what?
files, just
It's just-
if you wanna use
They
the
put out
templates or
notices they're
ignore
looking
them,
for
I
volunteers.
care
They
not.
did, right?
Yeah,
Just
but,
copy
Put them
them
in
to
the
your
paper?
computer in the next
I don't know
meeting.
where I saw
Just
it,
give
I
that
read
back
it.
to me.
and,
That's a half
Um,
decent jump drive.
I
It's a USB
can't
too.
imagine we've had any takers, we've heard about it.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. So, you know, what we should do is just, I mean, you and
Yeah, I need to
Aaron
sit-
have been working out, because there's a lot of like, you know, paperwork,
Yeah,
timing
it's-
issues. and-
Yeah, so,
And I think it's, you know, in case anything, you know, with Aaron, you know, if he ever gets tied up, we should all get apprised of everything that goes from soup to nuts.
yeah.
And maybe we should get a template that we see what you've been dealing with.
Like the
Yeah.
resolutions and the.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna-
just so you don't
That's,
get,
that's
Is
kind
there
of,
any reason we couldn't put these in a Google Drive or something?
Oh,
I
yeah.
assume it would have to be
that's,
public
okay,
if we did that, wouldn't it?
that's what I'll do, because all, these are actually on Google. I'll just share the
Oh,
drive.
okay.
So, yeah, there's nothing in there that I would, and I'll just assign it to you guys and only you, so I'll do that.
so you have to volunteer in order to get to see them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one way to try to get people. on board.
As far as I know, I've not heard of anybody making applications for our board.
Hmm.
This board is the hardest to fill for
Yeah.
some reason.
My term is up sometime in the spring, and I really don't wanna stay on. I've got just overload of amount of work that I didn't expect or didn't have 5 years ago. And,
Is that a good thing in the long run?
it's a good thing, but it's a good thing in the long run. And then I just, you know, I am disaffected with this administration to put it mildly. So,
You can say that after.
that's all right. I don't mind.
Okay, that's fine.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, that's true, and it's not like you,
Not like I sat by and did
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah,
about
exactly.
We're still gonna try to persuade you. to stay on.
Right, okay,
We don't want you leaving.
right. But that's that.
so,
Al says, don't even try.
Don't even just-
I'll admit I'm behind on stamping drawings, and I may give you a call not to stamp drawings, but to come in and sit with me for a
Wow,
half
he
hour.
stamps
This is what
drawings.
stamping drawings is,
Good idea.
kind of, it's goofy stuff, but it's something we have to do, so.
So you stamp it as having been
Received?
Approved.
received and approved by the,
Yeah,
God.
and that,
These are the approved drawings.
these are approved drawings. so,
Interesting,
Yeah,
yeah.
so,
Jeff, in another topic, Jeff signed me and Allison up for some, I think you.
Yeah,
you want-
continuing
for the-
education stuff, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Starting next
Oh, yeah,
Thursday.
yeah, I'm gonna be doing that
For
too.
webinars.
I guess we just go on to
It's
the
a
internet,
webinar
right?
site.
Yeah.
It's a webinar that runs from 11:30 to 12:30
Yeah,
Eastern time for, maybe it's 4 consecutive or almost 4 consecutive Thursdays
Yeah.
except for
except for the.
Thanksgiving,
Right,
or a couple, or something around there.
yes, and it's at, what, at 11:30?
11:30 to 12:30.
Yeah.
Take an early lunch.
I
Yeah,
don't know if there's a recording.
It would be great if it were
For
recording,
count.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's all legal oriented, so.
It's all- yeah.
counts towards
I don't know if it
legal
counts, if it
skill.
can count toward CLE,
Oh, it
all the
definitely
better.
can.
Yeah?
Oh, it is, it's
That's
designed,
Can you-
fantastic.
it's
Can you-
designed
Can
for
you double
attorney.
dip?
Oh, you can, of course you can.
You know.
Especially
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
that's
it's-
good though.
that's
That's not
good.
double dipping, you're still doing more. than-
Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
great, get
but
credit
it can
twice.
be applied.
Double
to-
credit.
Double credit.
Oh, there's no
Double credit.
question, I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
it's all zoning
Yeah, no,
oriented.
that's,
Yeah, that would be good,
I think
because
that's a
I
good
notice I
thing.
always
There's no
get the
worse,
credits.
no reason to persecute volunteers.
oh, yeah. Really? Wish you would have told that to. So,
Well, once you get those behind you, then we'll
Oh,
definitely
yeah,
keep you on board.
yeah. anyway, but that's
So,
something.
We'll work on that, we'll get somebody
Um,
else in there. maybe.
Any other concerns?
If not,
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
I hear a
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Alrighty.